Hello, Florence.
Hey, Lorna.
Right, so round two of the socialist opposition primary vote coming up this Sunday. They're having a US-style vote to choose their candidate to face Nicolas Sarkozy. And there's been a lot of focus on the two leading candidates, but Libération is focusing on the voters.
That's right, and there's a portrait of 6 of those voters here on the cover of Libération, and the headline says, "À vous de jouer," it's up to you. The game is in your hands. Now, inside, the paper focuses on just how the two candidates, François Hollande and Martine Aubry, have been preparing for the home stretch. The two candidates held their last campaign meeting yesterday. Martine Aubry held her campaign meeting in Lille. She said it's going to be a tight race, rather. Every vote is going to count. She wanted to show force, to have a show of force and say that she hasn't lost the race just yet. She's trailing in the polls. She's 9% behind François Hollande, especially since 3 of the candidates in the first round of the primary have given their backing to François Hollande. She still says she's very confident, though, and says that she can't wait for her duel with Nicolas Sarkozy. François Hollande is also very optimistic. He held his meeting here in Paris at Le Bataclan. It's a famous venue here. He says he's optimistic, but ironically, he says that he hasn't won just yet. So Martine Aubry is saying she hasn't lost just yet, and François Hollande saying he hasn't won just yet. So we'll see what happens on Sunday. The race, though, is very tight, and Le Monde on its front page says that it's the end of a high-strung campaign. Now, the two candidates held a debate on Wednesday on France 2. It was a very technical debate, and now in the last couple of days, a lot of papers are saying that the gloves are coming off. Martine Aubry gave an interview to 20 Minutes, which has been getting a lot of buzz here in France today, because basically she said that Hollande was the system's candidate. Now, what does she mean by that? She says that François Hollande is ahead in the polls because the polls say that he's ahead. And so it's kind of this self-fulfilling prophecy. She says that he's been fabricated by this media and poll system. Now, François Hollande reacted to this, saying that the only people that had fabricated him were voters. And a lot of critics have said that by saying this, Martine Aubry is flirting with right-wing rhetoric.
So the gloves perhaps coming after that first round, which many people said was perhaps a bit too polite. So things get hotting up a bit now. But the other big story in France today, of course, is that Tristan Banon, Dominique Strauss-Kahn scandal. And we heard a verdict yesterday from the prosecutors here in Paris.
That's right. Now, here it's on the cover of François right here. It says that Dominique Strauss-Kahn lied. Why did he lie? Yesterday, prosecutors decided to drop. They said that there wasn't enough evidence into an inquiry in attempted rape, but they said, however, that there was evidence of sexual assault, and so that's perhaps why François is suggesting that Dominique Strauss-Kahn lied, because he said that he had only tried to kiss Tristan Banon. Tristan Banon says that he attempted to rape her in 2003. It's also on the cover of Le Parisien, which says that Dominique Strauss-Kahn eludes prosecution, and inside Le Parisien tells us that Tristan Banon might still file for a civil suit against Dominique Strauss-Kahn.
As indeed he is facing in the US. But that's also in Le Figaro, isn't it, that story?
That story is in Le Figaro. It's in a lot of papers here in France, and a lot of them are focusing on the fact that, okay, there wasn't enough evidence for attempted rape, but there was evidence that was suggesting a sexual assault, which has a shorter statute of limitations here in France, 3 years as opposed to 10 years.
Now, a lot of the papers are also talking about rather a shocking story from the south of France that happened yesterday.
That's right. We're going to start by looking at 20 Minutes, which says teachers in shock. Basically, this happened in the southern town of Béziers. A teacher set herself on fire in her school playground yesterday to protest against unruly students. Now, the 44-year-old mathematics teacher was flown by helicopter with third-degree burns. Now, she did have a history of depression, and according to 20 Minutes, it was actually the students that she was protesting against that ended up saving her life.
Okay, and just really quickly to end with, La Montagne, a local paper, is telling us why we might not want to have a drink with Nicolas Sarkozy.
That's right. This is according to La Montagne. Sarkozy was visiting the town of Villetel. It's in the center of France. And he entered a bar and he said, this is my round. And he ordered coffees for a bunch of people. And then when he left, he forgot to pay. And so but he still owes the cafe 6.60 euros, or I guess another round.
Maybe he'll go back and settle up a bit later. Thanks very much indeed, Florence, for that look at all today's French newspapers. Let's get a quick reminder now of today's top stories here on France 24.